Hey guys, Travis Britt here with SOCEprep.com, where you get all your resources if you're looking to prepare for the Statewide Officer Certification Exam, whether you're in a basic recruit training program or you want to transfer your police certification from out of state into the beautiful state of Florida. So we're going to look at a question today that's got to do with consent, Fourth Amendment, so on and so forth, right? If you like these resources, guys, check me out at SOCEprep.com. You can purchase one of my plans and you can get unlimited questions like these and practice and get prepared for the Statewide Officer Certification Exam. Stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to tell you about another resource that I have on my website, soceprep.com. Enough with the plugs, though. Let's get into this question. Question 17 of 200. Like I said, you can see the clock's ticking. I set you guys up just like the real thing that you're going to face at Pearson View if you're looking to take the SOCE, right? So question 17 of 200, it says a police officer answers a call where a complainant calls on her husband for doing drugs in the residence that they cohabitat, right? So they live together, some marital property, right? The wife grants consent for the officers to search for the narcotic, but the husband then denies it. The officers search based on the consent that they received from the wife. They recover the narcotics. They arrest the husband, or the suspect rather. So with that being said, A says the consent was valid. The arrest is lawful. We're going to keep it or scratch it. Let's say I'm not sure yet. I want to look through my other answer choices. You guys should be keeping or scratching these answer choices. We're not looking for the right answer. We're going to try to get as many off the board as possible. We're going to narrow it down because the probability is going to help us out to answer this question correctly, even if we're not 100% certain about what the answer is, right? So trying to prepare you guys to pass the test. And obviously you need to know all this content. But we're trying to play the game right now. It's multiple choice, playing the game of probability. Let's say I'm not sure. I'm not ready to eliminate A. The consent was valid. The arrest is lawful, but I'm just going to hold on to it as a contender. B says the consent was not valid due to the objection of the co-resident who was present per United States Supreme Court, as you were. The case, Georgia versus Randolph. Georgia versus Randolph. Do we know what that case is? Georgia versus Randolph. I'm not sure. I'm going to hold on to that as well. C says that consent could be grounds for a search, but the officer should use discretion. This is one I don't like. I feel pretty good about eliminating it because I should never search anything or anybody until I've already made my decision. Now, discretion is basically you using the knowledge, training, and experience that you have to make a decision, right? So use discretion during a search. I'm going to make a decision before I search and make sure that I don't violate anybody's Fourth Amendment rights, right? So I'm going to follow due process as far as if I'm searching something, discretion's already been made, that I have a lawful ability to do so. So I'm not going to be searching and trying to figure things out with discretion. So I don't like that one, so I'm going to scratch it off the board. And then D says the consent was not valid only because time permitted for a warrant. I'm going to scratch that one as well, even though time is a huge factor as far as accident circumstances go. We talk about mobile conveyances with cars or motorcycles or boats for the sheer fact that they can move, right? The mobility of the vehicles. Time is of the essence for those warrants, so there are some exceptions to that rule. But I'm going to scratch it in this situation because we're talking about a house. And we know that houses are the castle law, right? As far as the Fourth Amendment goes, it doesn't get any more secure, right? The right to be secure in your own place and affects, right? Your home is your castle. Police officers should not be in it unless they have probable cause, right? So with that being said, I'm going to scratch D as well. So we've narrowed it down to 2, and this is what we're trying to do, guys. We're trying to narrow these choices down to 2, and I know either it is or it isn't from the 2 choices that I have. I do have some background on Georgia versus Randolph. I'm going to tell you about that case real quick. It happened in Georgia. There was a dude who had an estranged wife. They were going through a divorce. She was pissed off at him, and obviously she wanted to build a case on him. He had been doing drugs since the day that she met him, but she called the police on him to get him locked up because she wanted to get him locked up, removed out of the house so she could do what she wanted to do as far as removing belongings. And I'm kind of projecting right now. Maybe that's not the case, but she was unhappy with him. All right, so she called the police to try to use the jurisdiction of the police to remove her problem, which was her estranged husband at the time. Right, she gave permission for the police officer to enter the dwelling and recover the narcotics, but the cohabitant, the husband, said you may not enter my dwelling. Right, so we've got a question here. What stands? Is the consent good, or is the denial of consent what we stand on? And guys, anytime you have an owner occupied in a dwelling and they refuse consent, get yourself a search warrant, right? Whether they were in a car, a house, or pockets, right? third parties cannot give permission to search. Even in this situation where it was marital property, the husband was home. He said, no, sir, you may not search this dwelling. They should have got a search warrant. Now, they went on in on what they thought was good faith. They recovered the narcotics and they arrested the individual, made its way up through the courts in Georgia, and it was overturned because he did not give consent, even though the wife did give consent, right? So I know the correct answer for this one is going to be B. But if you use my strategy, keep it or scratch it, and you narrowed it down to those two choices, you got a coin flip to get this one correct, right? Now, obviously, you guys need to know all this stuff before you hit the streets. You can get yourself in trouble. All these videos are for educational purposes. We're trying to game the game on this test. But you got to know this stuff, guys. The consent was not valid due to the objection of the co-resident who was present at the time of the encounter with the police, right? So B was the correct answer. I'm going to pick it, I'm going to stick it, and I am going to move on. Guys, if you like this content, check me out over at soceprep.com, where you can purchase one of my plans, and you can take this test unlimited amount of times until you feel content. Had a guy last week, got a 92 on my practice exam, went and sat down at Pearson View and got a 92. So it's working, guys. So check it out. I got social proof to prove it. It's working. So with that being said, guys, I told you I was going to tell you a little bit about a free resource over at my website, soceprep.com. Let's say you don't want to spend any money on your prep plan. You got plenty of time to waste, right? Because I can save you some time if you purchase one of my plans. But let's say you want to do it old school. You want to dig through the books. I've got a free set of guided notes over on my website. Check it out, soceprep.com, and scroll down to the guided notes. You can use those, fill in the blank. It can help you out a lot if you don't have any money to spend. I still want to help you guys out. Love Florida, love law enforcement. So with that being said, soceprep.com, check out the guided notes if you don't have any money to spend. If you want to save some time, spend a small amount of money, and I promise you I'll take your anxiety and I'll give you a plan to pass this SOCE. With that being said, guys, thank you for your time. Have a good one. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe, all that happy hogwash, right? So we can get this out. Help me out with the algorithm so we can get this out to folks that are doing the same thing you're doing, trying to pass this friggin' test and get through the basic recruit training program so they can go out and be great Americans on the street, protecting and serving. Have a good one, guys. Travis Britt, soceprep.com. Thank you.